Hello everyone, I'm Colin,
I'm Rebekah.
and we're two production managers here at Allstead Farms, and we're just taking a look at some of our overwintered crops. This is overwintered spinach, and we're just thinking about the snow on the ground. The snow in the winter for the farm is not necessarily a bad thing. With a lot of our crops, it acts as kind of a buffer and an insulator. So for this spinach here or strawberries, the snow is going to insulate the ground. So if it gets, too warm outside, it'll keep the soil and the crops beneath it cool. Or if it gets real windy and cold on top of the snow, it acts as an insulator and a buffer to protect those crops down below.
Yeah, we want our crops to be protected from a hot day because we don't want them to start producing flowers in the case of strawberries, or we don't want them to start greening up in the case of our greens, because then they would be susceptible to being frozen if it were to get cold again. So we don't want them to start ripening until we take off the cover and are ready to harvest them.
So we also have a row of apple trees behind us here. So all the fruit trees on the farm are dormant right now. So they're in a period where they're not growing. Apples, peaches, pears, they all are dormant right now, and they need a certain amount of, it's called chill hours, which is a certain amount of hours below 40, 45 degrees where it's cold, and the apples need so many hours, depending on the variety, chilled, in order to eventually, come springtime, start budding, producing flowers, and eventually fruit.
And once these trees get those chilling hours, they will start to ripen. If it starts getting warm, they're going to start to ripen, produce buds, and eventually become flowers, which then will become fruit later on in the year. So when that gets dangerous is if the chilling hours are met now or next month, and we get really warm in April or March, and the flowers really start coming out, and then it gets freezing cold again in April or May, which we've had happen multiple years in a row. So we want to keep our crops as dormant as possible for as long as possible, so we don't risk losing them to a frost. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of control over that, but for our in-ground crops, that's something the snow is helpful for. And we like when it stays colder in the winter so that our apples and our peaches all stay nice and cozy and asleep until it's ready for them to have some flowers.